Welcome everybody to another wonderful webinar from Prox, Robotic Theater Productions. And this one is a very special one. Welcome to episode one of Back to the Future, future as in OR. Episode one, setting the time circuits, the dawn of the smart OR. Are we going to talk about the OR of the future today? Absolutely. This is Professor and Dr. Rodolfo Oviedo live on the Hop On Hop Off bus in London, United Kingdom. It's been a special day for me and for our society as well. I went to praise God for this enormous accomplishment. I'm here with my parents, and I have been inducted as a fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons of England. So I'm very happy, very honored. And at the same time, I want to acknowledge all the faculty who have joined us today. It's quite a privilege for me to have you all with us. I'd like to introduce future CEO from my office, your office, Dr. Nicolas Zucchini, who is doing his fellowship for 3 months in Nacogdoches, Texas, USA at the Intercontinental Training Program. Dr. Zucchini is ready to go. Dear Dr. Zucchini, would you like to introduce our faculty and get started with episode one?
Yes, we are. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, first in your office, second at your hospital for my fellowship. It is an amazing experience right now. I'm very enjoying everything. And thank you to all of our speakers for today. I want to introduce Dr. Hamine Hamdi. I hope I said it the correct way. Then two of my great mentors in my residency, which are Dr. Giovanni Fantola and Dr. Carlo Nagliati from Italy. And the last one is a great friend of mine. Like we have built our friendship during the residency. Is a great professional, great human being, now working in Spain from Naples, Dr. Clemente Junior Nappi. And if you do agree, if we are ready, I would like to start this webinar about the future of the operating room. And let's hear what Dr. Osine Hamdi has to say to us, if he agree.
Please, Dr. Hamdi, the podium is yours. And Dr. Hamdi is a minimally invasive and laparoscopic surgeon from Algeria. He's very well known. He's a surgical educator. And my professional dream, is to have him become, in the future, a program director for the Trox Intercontinental Training Program. Dr. Hamdi, please go ahead. The podium is yours.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing okay, especially in this cold weather. I'm Dr. Hussein Hamdi from Eastern Algeria, and I'm a laparoscopic, general and laparoscopic surgeon from the hospital of Beni Aziz, somewhat north of the main province of Sétif. And I'm head of my own surgical unit. I've developed my own surgical and laparoscopic program from, I think, from the basics to the type C and B laparoscopic surgeries. And I do the periodic training for interns and residents in surgery. And I opt with, of course, the help of Trogs and especially Professor Oviedo to open the 12th or maybe the 13th ITP center and the first one in Africa. And I've already have my first applicant, thanks to Professor Oviedo, of course. And I might start teaching ITP fellows before even opening the ITP center. And I'm very happy to join this family. And I've gained a lot since I've joined, I think around 8 months. And it opened my eyes on many things. I've prepared something for this webinar, and hopefully it will spark a very good conversation and maybe comments from the audience. And if you want me to start now or maybe give presentations to the other fellows, I'll be happy to wait.
Thank you, Dr. Hamdi. It's a great honor to have you in this webinar, and also, as hopefully very soon next ITP director. Please just present your stuffs and then we'll discuss together.
Can you see the video?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Can you hear the voice?
Hello, everyone. When the robot takes the ring, Atriox webinar.
Yes, we can.
Bible system app.
You can give your presentation, Dr. Hamdi. You can proceed. Dr. Zucchini, we may have some connectivity problems with Dr. Hamdi. Maybe the next speaker can start.
Yes, it's not a problem. We'll see the presentation after Dr. Hamni solves the problems with the Wi-Fi connection. So I want to introduce the next speaker, which is Dr. Clemente Junior Nappi. He's an Italian surgeon that now working in Barcelona. And please, Dr. Nappi, the podium is yours.
Okay. The best part of the live action. Okay, I will try to show my presentation. I hope it does work. How do you see it?
We can see it,
Perfect.
Dr. Nappi.
Okay, perfect. Well, good morning or good afternoon, depending by the time that is there. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Dr. Zucchini, for the invitation. Thanks to the Professor Oviedo as a mentor, first of all, because as a founder and trucks and for all the activity that he promotes. I'd like to talk something that we experience every day, but so few times we have a question about it. Not how we operate, but how we learn to operate. Because AI is not just changing the surgery, it's changing how we become surgeons and is forcing us to rethink everything and the process. Okay, these are the key references underlying this presentation, and just to be clear, I have no conflicts of interest to disclose. Well, let's be honest from the beginning, and it starts from the state of art of the surgical training and how the young surgeons approach for in this world and how they become seniors, like we need, and also the people and the patients most of all needs. Surgical training is still in many ways an apprenticeship model, and you watch, you assist, and you repeat, and eventually you can improve. We all evaluate trainees or med students or general surgeon that are becoming, and we everyone of us think that this is objective. But there is but if you take some surgical video and you give it to the three different senior surgeon, you'll often get three different evaluation of the same video. And meanwhile, we know that up to the 15% of complication may be preventable. So the question is, are we really measuring the skills, or we are only just perceiving it? So maybe, just maybe, experience alone is not enough. And in that case, the AI can help us. Okay, now robotic surgery changed the rules of the game. For the first time, every moment, every movement that we do is recorded. And literally, the system is watching us. Robotic and AI are transforming surgery in a data generating environment, and it's not just what we do, but how we do. Speed, precision, motion efficiency, everything becomes data. And once something becomes data, it can be measured, analyzed, and improved. This is the key shift and the challenge of the AI today. Traditionally, we are all trained in an operating room. Now we are not have only the possibility to get to improve during the operation where we participate, but we can train in simulation, a completely safe environment with no stress, no risk, no patients, and let me say also without anesthesiologists that sometimes can push to do a surgery quicker or in a different way. But here there is the limitation. Simulation without objective evaluation is just practice without no direction. And the real value come when we define when someone is actually ready to be a surgeon. So starting from this, wait, we can describe how the AI can help us in how the artificial intelligence become really interesting for our formation. AI can analyze, as we said, surgical movements in real time, not just whenever you complete a task, but how efficiently, how smoothly, how precisely you do it. And instead of waiting for the feedback from the tutor, you get an immediate objective feedback. It's like having like a mentor who never gets tired and never has a bad day, as we can say. This leads to a fundamental shift. We move from how many Ks have you done to how well can you perform it. Analyzing economy of motion, for example, path length, smoothness, and is a huge change because it's replaced the volume with the competence and quantify what we used to call skills. We all recognize a good surgeon when you see one, but now we can actually measure it and why they are so good and how we could find our way to be so good. This is the real turning points. The old and traditional scores of gears, OSATs are still valuable, but they are subjective, time consuming, and not scalable. AI, on the other hand, is immediate, reproducible, and scalable. So the question is not replacement, it's integration of the two systems. When we combine these metrics with AI, the results are simplicity strong. In controlled environment, accuracy exceeds 90%. Even in real surgery, performances range up to 100 in some cases, which means something is very important. We can now analyze the surgical skills, as we said before, and it's caring, but has an incredible potential because this information one day, or maybe today, could predict the clinical outcome of the patients, the quality of life the patient when he is discharged, and also can have an impact on directly during the operation time. If you think one of the biggest limitation of the robotic surgery programs and generally of the robotic surgery is the lack of tactile feedback. And also in this, the AI can help us, maybe not tomorrow, not today, but I think tomorrow can be um, sure how much we are pulling, how much we are stretching the tissue, how much we can affect the neurovascular bundle in some kind of integration. And also, as a gamer, I like to think that there is a kind of share feedback loop between the surgeon and the machine. Is not like that. So AI maybe could help us to reconnect the surgeon to his sensation, his tactile perception. In fact, the lack of haptic feedback is well-known limitation in robot surgery, and the extensive forces could make lead to tissue damage without understand what are we doing during the surgery. So AI can partially solve this by translating the force into a visual formation. For example, as in the image was shown, change the color of the most tracted zone or the more stretched or more stressed. And not replace the touch, but can compensate it, give us like a feedback that is a different one from where we are used, but this baby, the next thing that we have to learn as a surgeon. And also in the future, there is the where things start to feel like a science fiction because it's not like real, but will be very soon. Imagine in an operating room with a GPS, like with the maps, you can see the tool margins, the vessel, the engine structure, and you didn't have to ask for it. You can see, the AI can show you. And before that you reach them, not guessing, not estimating, you can see. Augmented reality is not a rapidly evolving area. By combining the proprietary imaging with interpretive video, and AI can guide the dissection to improve the outcome of the patients, as we said before. AI that just doesn't just help to with the movement, it helps to decision making process with the recognizing faces, identifying planes, and warning about the dangerous zones. Almost like having a second brain, a second surgeon in your with you, dedicated only with the safety of the patients. Okay. And more or less, this is the skill translation pipeline. If we try to simplify everything, data come hymns, AI process, metrics are extracted, the movement, the angle of the robotic arms, and the feedback is generated like the last phase. And the surgeon can improve in a continuation loop, also having not only a geometrical description of his movement, but also sometimes some advice analyzing only the data, the same data that maybe no one was recording before, and now the AI can help to understand, record, and also improve this movement too. Now, let's be clear, we are not at full autonomy and reaching the learning curve is still a problem. But in this world, we still need surgeons and we have to find a better solution to have the best surgeons that we can. In fact, current AI systems are mostly like assistive, full autonomy remain experimental, and reviewing interpretive intelligence clearly shows that they are not so safe to doing it alone. And this is important. The goal is not to replace the surgeon, because as we said, we need new surgeons, but to enhance the performance. Well, I'll finish with a thought. AI will not replace the surgeons, but the surgeon who understand and use the AI will have completely different way of practicing. More precise, more miserable, more consistent. And the take-home message is still the surgeon who makes decisions. AI just make those decisions more informed, more consistent, and potentially safer for you and for the patients. And as I said before, I'd like to thanks all your Turks family, and most of all, one of my best friend in life, the Dr. Nicolas Zucchini. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Nappi. It was a great presentation. You know that I I trust in what you've done, and I share it with 100%. I think that AI will help us in the future, will not replace us, but when has history has shown us during every century, when a new technology comes in, most of the people just think it will replace the human being. But the truth is that the human beings that can handle it are just one step further the other. So I think that you had a great point, and the future is now. Actually, we can build machine learning models. We can apply. We can share data. We can see what we were thinking about AI and robotic surgery. So that's my comment about it. I don't know if Professor Viedo has any comments.
I do. Dear Dr. Zucchini, dear Dr. Nappi, what a beautiful presentation. I really look forward to meeting you in person soon. I keep
I
hearing
hope
great things
you
about you. I do have a
thank you.
question for you. What would you
Okay.
say to the young generation, to your students or residents? who may tell you, we like AI, but our patients are afraid. Some of our patients don't trust AI, and they don't want to be operated on by surgeons who manage or handle AI. What would you say to your juniors? What's the best approach? Because we're talking about AI incorporated in the OR of the future, and the future is here. So, what would you
Yeah.
say to your residents about that?
I didn't understand so very well the question. I think that
I,
the
I,
point.
I
What?
did. If you want, Professor, I can do it with because you're on. I'm seeing that you're moving, and sometimes the audio goes in. Okay.
Yes, if you
Uh,
can please repeat it.
yes.
Yeah, thank you.
So basically, the question is, you know that many patients fear the
Yeah,
AI and have
yeah.
suspect about the surgeon who use AI. So, what's your suggestion for youngers, for your residents, for medical students? The suggestion that you give them to help them to convince the patient that the AI could be helpful and not replacing the surgeon.
Okay. Well, I think that that's the point. Right now, the humanity is not prepared to have an AI surgeon, and I think it's probable that never won, because at the end you need a person who put his professional his professionalism, his preparation, his studies, and is too much right now to have a completely AI doctor. But I think like everything in the world, the people will get used with that, and we don't have to fight too much with this, because a lot of time the people try to search for the same information that you're looking for in AI, and also use to compare. So the point is not to use like a substitution. As I said in my presentation, is like more integrate the two things. Don't be scary about the AI. Use the AI and also share with the patients how the AI can help us. Because if you explain that you will do the same procedure that you have already done, I don't know, 1,000 times, but in that time you will have also another tool. You have to show and to explain to the patient that is another tool that the surgeon can use to be a best surgeon. So I think it's all about time. The people will be get used. Maybe in the future will be some procedure that will be done by some 100% by AI. I don't know, but we have to try to stay on this point, because if we don't look what is passing around us before and then, the AI will pass us. So it's better to work together than work against. I hope
Yeah,
to answer
I
the
completely
question.
agree. I completely agree. As we had a lot of discussion in the past. The point is, and for the future generation, uh, try to handle it, try to manage it, and become a master of it. Because if you don't, the AI will use you, and we don't want
Yeah,
this. We want to use the AI, not
yeah.
the. And second point that I get from your answer is. When the first car was made, it was invented, and then the shuttles, and then the fly, whatever.
When the wheel, we can start from the wheel. The people
We
doesn't
can,
have the wheel.
I mean, we can move just walking, but
Yeah,
why walking if we can use a car?
yeah.
And the third point that I want to underline is a Professor Oviedo point that the first time I heard, I was surprised because it's very simple but very clear. So please, Professor, if you want to share the 007 skills, probably is gonna have some problems. I will for him. As 007, as a super spy, he wants to be great at shooting. He wants to be able to dive. He wants to be able to land with a parachute. He wants to know how to fly. So we as surgeon we want to have control of the best things we can have. So we want to do open surgery, we want to do laparoscopic surgery, we want to do robotic surgery, and now we want to control AI to integrate it with the robotic surgery.
Something interesting, Dr. Zucchini, at this ceremony for the Royal College of Surgeons of England, they spoke a lot about robotic surgery. And so it's very important. Everybody needs to embrace it. Even surgeons who have never even seen a robot in person, they haven't touched the robot. There is absolutely no reason to stop learning. And we offer that through the Infotainment Training Program and through multiple programs at Trucks. And so what I would say is, just like 007 can do a lot of things, and by the way, I'm in the land of 007, no coincidence there. But just like speaking languages, right? You speak English, you speak Italian, obviously, you speak other languages, you speak Spanish. Just like languages open the door to people and cultures from around the world, languages, speaking languages is a superpower. But robotic surgery and knowing about it is a superpower. And you don't even have to be an expert. You just have to embrace it and be open to and willing to learn. So thank you for that wonderful talk. And I think we may be ready for Dr. Hamdi. Dr. Hamdi, are you ready to present?
Probably his connection is lacking. I don't know.
Earlier, I had a mild connection issue.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
It's your time.
Go ahead, Dr. Hamdi, present. Share your screen.
Can you see the screen now?
Yes, perfect. We can see it.
Hello, everyone. When the robot takes the ring, a drugs webinar via the FutO.R app. Episode Back to the Future. The Dawn of the Smart Operating Theater. Conception and presentation by Dr. H. Hamdi.
There have been many debates about the future of medical and surgical fields in the coming years, particularly regarding their close relationship with AI. Three major were the core of these discussions. First one is robots will perform better than any human surgeon in history. Secondly, robots will learn faster than any human ever could. And lastly, studying medical sciences will become obsolete in the next few years. Pretty fascinating, no? So let's try and dig deeper in each of these claims and see where the discussion and facts take us.
Will surgeons be replaced only in standardized procedures or in everything? And if so, would that really be progress? We are often told that this future will make healthcare cheaper, better, and accessible to everyone. But history teaches us that major technological shifts rarely benefit everyone equally, at least not at first. So what becomes of the surgeon in that world? Does the surgeon become a technician, limited to docking, setup, and supervision? A backup plan when the system fails? Or does the machine eventually become fully autonomous? That question becomes even more serious when we think beyond routine steps. Surgery is not only execution, it is judgment. It is recognizing unexpected anatomy, dealing with bleeding, adapting to tissue quality, deciding when it is safer not to proceed, and knowing when conversion is the right decision. These are not minor details. They are at the core of what makes surgery a human responsibility. There is also the question of infrastructure. Even today, many countries struggle to maintain the systems needed for advanced surgical care. A future built on autonomous robotics would depend not only on machines, but also on stable electricity, batteries, generators, digital networks, data security, and powerful AI centers. My view is simple. This transformation is probably inevitable, just as medicine has already gone through major and sometimes uncomfortable changes to reach where we are today. But this transition must be guided by medical and surgical leadership, not shaped primarily by technology companies. If it is left unchecked, the consequences will affect patients first and the profession second. Because medicine will always depend on human judgment, empathy, trust, and ethical responsibility. A machine may imitate some of these qualities, but it cannot truly own them. This is all I will say on the subject for now. Further discussion is more than welcome from the panel or audience. Claims that machine learning systems can acquire medical or surgical knowledge faster than humans often rely on a misleading comparison. A complex procedure such as a Whipple's requires years of training before a surgeon can perform it independently, whereas a machine could theoretically extract its technical steps from large datasets in a short time. However, this comparison is not directly equivalent. The distinction lies in the nature of medical practice. It is not defined by the speed of information acquisition. While AI systems have a clear computational advantage in processing large volumes of data, this does not equate to clinical judgment, technical adaptability, or operative decision-making in real-world conditions. A utopian line of reasoning envisions a future with technology similar to the healing pods depicted in Elysium, capable of instantly curing disease and reversing aging. While conceptually interesting, a more realistic trajectory points toward increasingly cost-driven healthcare systems, where AI is integrated to optimize efficiency, automate specific tasks, and augment clinical workflows rather than fully replace physicians. Yet again, your opinions are essential to broaden the perspective. The third and perhaps most critical point is the claim that there may soon be no real need to study medical sciences anymore. I believe this is a fundamentally misguided idea. If such a message spreads, people may gradually start abandoning higher studies, not only in medicine, but in many demanding disciplines, simply because information seems instantly available. But access to information is not the same as expertise, and certainly not the same as forming judgment, discipline, and responsibility. We must ask ourselves a more realistic question. Does this vision apply to the world we actually live in? Because our world is still far from perfect. It is unstable, unequal, and constantly exposed to conflict, economic crises, cyber attacks, pandemics, natural disasters, and failures of infrastructure. In such a world, excessive dependence on AI and robotics is not only a technological choice, but also a strategic vulnerability that one must consider in all the steps of this rapid transition. And this is no longer only theoretical. The shift has already begun, and the early signals are mixed. Investigations have reported safety incidents and recalls linked to AI-enabled medical devices, including navigation systems used during surgery. At the same time, other studies suggest that repeated dependence on AI assistance may gradually affect human performance itself, including greater precision and, in selected settings, better perioperative outcomes. In other words, the future will likely amplify both signals, hopefully on a disproportionality towards the best. AI in medicine is an augmentation tool, not an authority replacement. Its strength lies in computation and pattern recognition, while clinical judgment, accountability, and adaptability remain inherently human responsibilities. Technological progress in surgery is not linear improvement. It introduces both gains and new failure modes. Each major innovation improves outcomes, but also creates dependencies, risks, and unintended consequences such as over-reliance and skill erosion. Healthcare systems remain constrained by real-world fragility. Infrastructure, energy, connectivity, cybersecurity, and geopolitical stability determine whether advanced AI-driven medicine is usable, sustainable, or vulnerable in crisis situations. The central challenge is not whether AI will advance, but how its integration is structured, ensuring change is controlled, ethically guided, and does not outpace training, responsibility, and human competence.
Thank you for your attention. And I appreciate the opportunity to share this discussion with you and look forward to any questions or commentary.
I hope the video went well and you listened to what I had to say.
The video went well. You can also stop the sharing your screen if you want. I like it very much. Don't worry. I like it very much. It was very interesting. The point is, my question for you is, what do you think will be the future for what your competence and your state and in Africa in general? Because we are too used to speak about future, but we are talking about often Europe, United States, maybe China or Japan. We don't know the African voice. So I want to hear what you think.
So first of all, I do want to speak on behalf of all Africa, but I do not, to be honest, don't know the exact circumstances of each country. I only have a brief idea. But anyways, I'll do my best. First of all, let me be honest. Even laparoscopy in Algeria is still a very new thing. It's cutting edge here in Algeria. And doing, for example, hernia surgery or even an appendectomy via laparoscopy is a very big thing. So talking about robotic surgery, or even integrating AI or even AI assistant tools is still in the very far future, at least from my viewpoint. For another country in Africa, I think maybe Egypt, maybe South Africa, they are a little bit advanced from this perspective, at least from the perspective of Algeria. Robotics are only entering Algeria this past few months, and they are not already settled in, but we still consider classical surgeries are with newer technology or newer endoscopy instruments field, and people still do quite hard to drive people surgery or AI assisted surgery in any aspects of their health. So I think it is a very big deal, and shift must go very slowly in this aspect.
Okay, thank you. And last question, very brief. What do you think, just because of your presentation, what do you think we can do all together as a drugs family or as physicians to cut the edge, to cut the gap?
Well, first of all, I think I mentioned something very important, which went very fast. Sorry for that. I think we should take the reins, if I can say so, about the change of robotic surgery and the AI integration from the companies that try to enforce this and maybe hasten this change and make it available to our mentors, especially the people on major societies like drugs, for example, or WHO, that drive this change via responsibility and ethical responsibility above all. So it's not just commercial and try to sell this or that in the hospital and change this. So companies can sell equipment. So the WHO, for example, must take or handle this change gradually so people can benefit from it and not just industries. And that's my opinion for short.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate your opinion and your presentation. Professor Oviedo, do you want?
Dr. Ham, yes, Dr. Zucchini, Dr. Hamdi, you said very well, and I think you have explained it in a very eloquent fashion. And even though it's not a perfect system, I can tell you I have had the honor of writing two papers already, or mentoring some of my mentees on writing two papers on the topic of publications and robotic surgery in the beautiful African continent, both Northern Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa. And I can tell you, we know it's not a perfect system, but it is coming. Robotics is coming to Africa. It's already there. And it's extremely important for all of our African brothers and sisters who are surgeons or surgical trainees to start learning now. There are ways to do it. And this is why I have a dream, one of my dreams. I have many dreams. One of them is to bring an ITP center to Africa, whether sub-Saharan or Northern Africa or both. I would love for the African continent, the African surgeons and the patients to have benefits such as robotic surgery. And in a perfect world, it should not be tied to industry. Industry should be just a partner, not the driver of our education. We say it all over and over and over again at Trucks. We respect them as partners, but this education needs to come from surgeons. And so we're working on solutions. We are working on solutions. Example, Surgical Excellence Academy is an academic institution that is already trying to bridge that gap and democratize surgical education for all of those who are interested. And so I encourage everyone to learn about that. And I also acknowledge all of our partners and sponsors at Trucks, without whom our educational endeavors would not be possible. So again, partnership, but not the driver of our education. The drivers of our education should be ourselves, the surgeons, the ones who are passionate about what we're learning and teaching. So thank you for that perspective. And let's not be discouraged. Robotics is coming to Africa and to all over the world. It's just a matter of time. It's already happening.
Thank you, Professor.
So let's go to the next speaker, which is one of my mentors, one of the reason I'm here at the Nacogdoches Medical Center. One of the reason because how I get in touch with Professor Oviedo. And please, Dr. Fantola, if you can share your presentation.
Yes, thank
the
you.
podium is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicolas. But I first want to thank Professor Oviedo, because all day I think he have a great role for our community, the role to share information, to share a lot of discussion, but the real role is to share, I think, to spread enthusiasm. And for us is very important the philosophy of Professor Oviedo to share, to spread enthusiasm. And I want to tell you that this is a common aspect with my friends Nicolas, because my friends Nicolas have the great a great character that arrive to share and to spread enthusiasm, and this is very important for us. Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Professor, and thank you, Nicolas.
Thank you, my friend. It's truly an honor to hear those words from you. And ever since I had the pleasure of meeting you in person in Napoli, Ipso Napoli, 2023, I will never forget that conversation. And I knew that that would lead to a wonderful friendship. So thank you for everything you do. You are a hard worker. You continue to spread the word. You continue to work hard to educate others. So you deserve the recognition, my friend. Thank you.
it's very important for our community. And the Napoli, I think it is the start of the community. So it was very important. So this is my presentation. Maybe maybe it is a step back for the from the smart operating room, but I think if we are to discuss about the technological and the smart operating room, we must start with the core of philosophy behind the surgical intelligence. So today I would like to share my experience, my philosophy that guided the logistical renew of operating room in bariatric, in my bariatric unit. So the goal is to optimize logistic while reducing error. We must start from the premise that in healthcare error is not an option. We cannot have error. So how we can do? So I propose you this philosophy that is Lean Six Sigma. I don't know if you know this philosophy. I want to to share with you my experience. So lean management is based on removing barriers and eliminate waste. So it is built on a simple question: is it necessary? Do we need it barrier? Because if it isn't necessary, if we don't need it, it must be eliminated. It not can, it must be eliminated. Six Sigma is based on the standardization. So, which means eliminating the variables that can lead to error. So it is always better to take the same path to reach goal if the path is free of variables. Never take a road away with many variables, even if it may seem faster. And I think this is the philosophy of all surgeons. This is our, or it could be our philosophy. So the Lean Six Sigma matrix is industrial in nature, originally used to improve manufacturing process, using to produce cars and phone. However, we must always remember that we are not producing car or phone, but we are producing health for our patients. So human to human. We have always speak by human words. This is very important because we have our patients first. I really like this graph, and Nicolas know this graph because is our philosophy. It represents our goal, and it is a curve, but is a bell curve. A bell curve to reduce variables. In this curve, we can tell us and that it's not important just the median, the average, but the standard deviation is very important. So when we analyze data, we have to have a little standard deviation. We have a bell curve, and this is our goal. So both method, Lean and Six Sigma management, are based on first context analysis. I think it is like a snapshot of the situation in this moment. I have to analyze this moment. and measuring variable, analyze data, real data, not what we think about the situation, but analyze data. This is a real snapshot. And then keeping clear in mind our KPI, the key performance indicators. So what we want to change. What is my key performance indicator? And then we have to implement to improve all procedure. And finally, we have to control. Controlling audit is very important, is a part to go on this process. We have never stopped the process. The process is a circle. So we have always control and evaluate our results. It's very important. So I am most proud of this article that we have published in 2019. This is our experience in Brooks Hospital. We have analyzed 461 patients operated in bariatric surgical unit, and we have divided the patients in two groups. The test group is the group of patients operated when we are started with Arab's protocol, and in the same time we have started with the Lean Six Sigma management in change in logistical management of operating room. And the other patients, 239 patients, are our control group, the group before the change of our operating room new philosophy. So now we have to underline our KPI. The first KPI is the time. The time is very important. Time is a value. So all downtime or dead time is considered as a waste, a barrier. We have to eliminate the downtime, the dead time. So this is an example of our work. An interesting example because we have a snapshot before and the improvement of operating room. We noticed that room turnover was being delayed by an auxiliary monitor, this auxiliary video that obstructed the path for patients' entry and exit. So it's very simple. We have not to remove the auxiliary video. We have to move the auxiliary video integrated into main surgical column or tower, I don't know. This is very simple, but you have to know the context. You have to know to have the snapshot of the context in order to change. Furthermore, think about the unnecessary movement made by the operating room staff, and then redesign the room with the operators positioned next to the instrument they need. Reducing movement decrease confusion and standardize the process. It would be very valuable to map the trajectory of operators to understand how many wasted, not useful steps they take during a procedure. This is a tool known as a spaghetti chart. And I promise you that it produces a staff happiness because it reduces the hard work. It produces a value work, a very producible work. So another excellent example, a new example, is about the device, the instrument. Six Sigma tell that we have to use always same device to reduce error. And my intuitive helps us to explain the importance of standardization of instrumentation. The fewer change we make, the fewer errors occur, and the better the logistic become. So lean management eliminates the downtime, and the parallel processing is the perfect proof. Why wait the anesthesiologist to finish their task when we can already be prepared to start our tasks? This is what parallel work is all about. And this is our results. So we have improved teamwork time, we have improved total anesthesia time, and we have improved surgical time. And finally, we gain 40 minutes for our patient. This is the trend in bariatric procedure before and after the change of our philosophy, logistical improvement in operating room. And we can see that we have operated more patients with this logistical change. So in conclusion, I think that we can talk about smart operating room, artificial intelligence, but we have in our mind the philosophy before to start the change in technology. because we don't never have to choose between operational speed or efficiency and the clinical safety. We have a control rigorous of variance in order to protect patients, but also to empower the surgical team. You know, the operating room is the surgical team, is not the device into the operating room. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. As you said, I know many of these things that you have said because I had the opportunity and I was very lucky to work with you for almost 2 years. And what you teach me is standardization is the most important thing. And today you show to all the world, and I'm very proud to be your mentee because I wanted you to explain how our identity and our mind, our we think about the surgical theater. And the most important things is that you hit the center. The bullet point was the dawn of a smart OR. We cannot start thinking about AI, robotics, and whatever if we don't know what is at the beginning. At the beginning is the dawn, and at the dawn there's the surgeon. So we have to we have to know that we are the operating room, we are the smart operating room, and to be smart, we have to be productive. we don't have to waste time. In this case, we can control the machine. And the machine means not only robotics, not only technologies, but also how everything is processed inside the operating room. So thank you very much. It was an excellent presentation. Obviously, I have no question because I lived your experience. So I want Professor Oviedo, ask Professor Oviedo if has any comments about it, or Dr. Nagliati.
My dear friend, Dr. Fantola, you have summarized it so well. Truly, the most important aspect of the entire OR is the people that work in it. It's not the machine. The robot is just another tool. You are correct. And what matters the most is the efficiency, the team spirit that reigns in the OR. So I encourage everyone to remember that we must be compassionate. We must be excellent communicators. I always say that I have the best OR team in the world. I don't know. I think I may be biased, but Dr. Zucchini has seen it. The human element of the team that works with me is just second to none. And I know that Dr. Pantola, you must have the best team in the world too. And all of us think the same. When we find that group of people that work with us so well that we don't even have to talk, it's like dancing. It's like dancing tango, right? There is no verbal communication, even though it should be. But even with just knowing each other, we already anticipated everyone's moves and we know what the patient will need, how to optimize safety. And the robot is just another component, it's an extension of our hands. So, Dr. Nayati, do you have any comments or anyone else?
I think I have something to add.
Please, Dr. Hamdi, go ahead.
In fact, I've prepared something for the Luxembourg conference that looks somewhat similar on what Dr. Giovanni said. And it is, like I call it now, the patient circulation system, the PCS. And that's something that I've worked on with my team, and of course, from publications and studies, that we were able to perfect the workflow of my unit, of our unit, of course. And we were able to achieve astronomical figures that I almost had to reduce to make them believable. So we were able to increase the output of the surgical ward from, I think, 4 to 5 cases per week to around 50 cases per week in around 14 months of work. So I think I know very well of what Dr. Giovanni said. I encourage him to continue this work because the very first beneficial of these systems is the patient in the first place.
I totally agree, Dr. Andy. It is very interesting what you've said. And very interesting that in different settings, in different countries, when well-known professional are working, always the same goal is reached and achieved. So this is a very interesting thing. I don't know if Dr. Nagliati is still with us because he's on call today, but I would like to invite him to say something about what Dr. Fantola said, and also thanks him, because if I met Dr. Fantola is because of Dr. Nagliati, and I will be forever thankful for that.
Hi, Nicholas. Thank you. I would like, first of all, to thank all of us, especially Professor Oviedo, which is the master here. And let me just congratulate with my friends and colleague for the very, very nice presentation. And if you got a few minutes, I would like to share with you my old-style, old-fashioned, basic presentation. So actually, let me just do some, and I get no data to share, but I just would like to do some philosophy, maybe.
The podium is yours, and you are called here because of your philosophy.
We love philosophy, Dr. Nayati. We need that. Please go ahead.
I'll try to do my best. That's it. So what I would like to focus. Are you happy to see my presentation on the screen? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yes.
So, very, very basic. Tools. I think what we are talking about, we still need to remember we are using tools. And now we got lots of tools. In the future, we don't know how many tools we will be able to use. And I think it's very, very important. Still remember, we are humans and we need to use tools. And we got the opportunity to improve our possibility to use tools and more tools in the future. But AI, robot, laparoscopy, all of that are tools, and we are the responsibility to use it. That's my idea. Never forget the patient care. I think this is quite obvious, but we still need to remember every day we are here. I'm in the hospital now. I'm on call, so sorry for that one. But we still need to remember that that's our goal, patient care, and we need to use that tools, and we need to use everything to that topic. We need to think every day, every moment about patient care. Expectations. I think it's very, very important to focus on this topic. If we learned something about ERA's protocol and many other fields, is that the surgeon expectation could be very different, but the patient expectation. So what we like to improve as surgeons could be a bit different about what the patient would like to focus. I mean, if we think about ERA's protocol, we think about from the surgical point of view about the operating room, time, costs, and all the devices we're using. If I were a patient, I would think about pain, time in hospital, restart feeding, and so on. And that could be very, very important even in the A&E, in the AI era. And expectation of surgeons and expectation of patients could be focused together. Surgical approach. What I mean is that we are changing the approach, but probably surgery is still the same. So we need to think about it. We are using tool to do surgery, and that's it. Sometimes we need to focus about what we are going to do, and then about the tools. Last but not least, open mind. Every time we need to be open about the actual tools, actual resources, and that will be the same in the future. Looks quite obvious, but it's not so obvious for all the people. And let me just share, I think, this very recent report about OECD, which is not talking about surgery, but it's talking about healthcare in general. Lots of things, but some topics is very, very interesting. What about risks? There's some risks about the AI, but we need to focus about risks about the in action to use AI. As Nicolas said earlier, we have to control the process. Otherwise, we will be controlled by the process. That report finds some pillars. So I think it's very important to remember about data, quality of data. We are feeding the AI with data. So we have to control the quality of data to get better results. Capacity and capability of people. So we need tools to use tools. So we need some technology and we need to control the technology to use that tools. Guardrails. What that means, in my opinion, is that we need common strategies, nationally and internationally. And it's very important to involve people, involve citizens, involve healthcare providers, and involve even industries. So we have to work together. And it's come back to the healthcare. We have to think about patients. We have to think about ethics. What are we going to do? We are healthcare providers. We need to think about patients' care. So ethics in the innovation. And we need to work together. As we said about Africa, and thank you for Dr. Hamdi for this presentation, we need to work worldwide together to try to find the power to improve together in the same way. Looks obvious, even that one, but it's not so obvious. And that's it. Thank you. And sorry for my philosophy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I love your philosophy, because we used to have many conversation, many philosophical conversation together. And that's why one of the reason I appreciate you. And this is another point of view of the dawn of the FutO.R, which is very interesting, by the way. I like the way you present these results from an unconventional paper, let's say paper, and your point of view. What I want to ask you is, in your mind, it is feasible in the short-term period to involve all these users, healthcare users, companies, and the people, normal people. How do you think it's feasible to involve all of them to work together for a common goal?
Thank you, Nicolas. I think that's the only way. We got no choices. We need to involve, as well as we have done with other protocols. I'm still thinking about ERAS, but even any other protocols. The success was think about the expectations of patients in that case and work on it. And now probably we need to do the same. So think about the feasibility and work on it. So we have to talk with politicians, and we have to talk with citizens, and we have to talk with industries. Otherwise, it will be very, very difficult. If you think about the spreading of the robotics, it would be the same for me, in my opinion. If people feeling that we need it to improve quality, that's the beginning to spreading.
Okay. So basically, to make people responsible for engaging us in this new chapter of healthcare.
Yeah, I think so.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Sorry, it's a great presentation, in my opinion. A great mind for a great presentation. I think that if we have to take the point of public, of normal people, the two question is useful and the fear of the AI. So we have to have the human point behind, because if human point is the tool, in this case there are no fear, and you can achieve the useful of the technology.
Yeah,
Great.
that's
Great.
definitely. I agree with you, Nani. Thank you for your comment.
Professor Oviedo, do you have any comments?
Just to finish, my dear friend, I enjoyed what Professor Nayate was saying. It makes absolute sense to me. In fact, we keep talking about the technological advancements of robotic surgery, but we tend to forget the ethics of it, right? So where is the ethics of robotic surgery? How should we behave? How should we interact with industry and with the stakeholders and with the hospital CEOs and administration? And is it time to calm down and sit down at the table and have conversations like this? What is the role of the steering committee? Do we know what a steering committee is? Should every hospital have a committee that deals with the ethical behavior of surgeons who perform robotic surgery, to follow guidelines, to make sure that they are accredited properly, to make sure that not only are they certified, but they have the accreditation that they need to have to ensure patient safety? What about quality? What about the way that the resource should be allocated? Who should have it? Which specialty? Which specialist? And how many days a week? Who should have access to it? How many cases does it take to be able to earn the privilege of use the robot? So these are important topics that we need to be discussing periodically at Trogs and always. And I encourage everyone who wants to participate in this type of publication. We're preparing a manuscript and book chapter on the ethics of robotic surgery. And that is a very important aspect of it, including the financial aspect. So thank you, Dr. Nayati, for sharing and to everyone. And I think we're out of time, but I truly enjoyed this amazing webinar led by Dr. Zucchini. Thank you, my friend, Dr. Zucchini, for such a wonderful job. And thank you to Christian Lopez in the Philippines, all the way to the beautiful Philippines. Thank you, Christian from Sir John, for supporting us. And I really look forward to episode 2. I hope that all of our faculty will be happy to come back to the series started by Dr. Zucchini. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you, Rodolfo.
Thank you, my friends. I'll see you in Luxembourg.
See you in Luxembourg.